Very few people understand what the purpose of an appeal is in a criminal case and what a court can and can't do. For most people, the understanding of an appeal is that it's an opportunity for another court to look at a case and determine whether the case was proven, whether the person's actually guilty or not. In another video, we talked about the length of the sentence and the fact that a court of appeals can't do anything about that, even if they think it's excessive. The same thing goes for whether or not the evidence is sufficient to convict somebody, except in very limited circumstances. A court of appeals can review a case for what's called legal sufficiency, and that simply means whether there's any evidence which, if believed, would support the verdict. And the big phrase in there is "if believed." So there may be evidence that you don't agree with, or that the person that's appealing doesn't agree with, or they think may be completely unsupported. But that decision is up to a jury. And that's really what a court of appeals starts with as far as a presumption. They presume that the jury got it right, and they're not going to sit and second guess the decision that a jury makes. So they're generally not looking at sufficiency of the evidence, and except in extremely rare situations, they're never going to reverse a case because they find that the evidence wasn't sufficient. They're not looking to see whether the case was proven beyond a reasonable doubt. That's a decision for the jury, and they're not going to second guess that. They're only looking to see if there was any evidence that would support a verdict, and it's pretty rare that there isn't, because most time the state's going to present some evidence that supports it, even if it may be evidence that might be questionable, or even if the court itself might find that really is somewhat questionable. Instead, a court of appeals is looking not at what the jury did and the decision that the jury made. Instead, they're looking at what the trial court did, and we'll cover that in a different video.